Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about Kourtney Kardashian on Instagram, Cory Booker's relationship with coffee, and Beto O'Rourke handing his wife poop. So today I have Guillaume and Hookstead with me. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing great.
We're doing very well. It's March Madness time. I got my brackets filled out. I'm ready to roll. Best time of the year.
What is the point of March Madness?
It's a time for guys to waste money, drink beer, have fun, watch college basketball. It's the best time of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe we stretched out the Super Bowl for a month.
Wait, but what is it? Like, I don't even know what it is.
All the
What
college
is
teams.
it? How would you describe something that you both love but is emotionally taxing on you at the same time? It's something that you're almost married to in a way.
That sounded about right, actually.
But just like for 1 month a year?
3 weeks, yeah.
Okay. So what?
4 weeks if you count conference.
So you
games.
make brackets? Like, how do you choose who you think is going to win what?
You spend the year watching, you figure
Yeah.
out the best teams, and you roll the dice, make some risky picks,
Okay.
and make a ton of money, hopefully.
Wait, so you find all the games, you know who's going to play who, and then you write them on a board.
Yeah.
Nope.
You don't have to write them on a board?
You print it out on a bracket.
You print it.
Yeah.
But you could write it on a board.
You could, yeah.
Ostensibly. I feel like that could be
Kid
fun.
president, that was the thing.
Okay. Yeah. And then you circle who you think is going to win.
Write it
Or...
out and you fill it out. This
Yeah.
is
Okay.
so easy. This
You're
is as
making
No,
American.
I've never done it, so I just am curious.
This is as American as the Second Amendment, so it shouldn't be.
I feel like basketball is not like the most American sport.
No, but
would
March
you-
Madness is like the quintessential American sports moment.
If anything's going to bring us all together, it'd be March
Exactly.
Madness. Everybody's involved in it.
Thank you.
Every state has a reason to care about March Madness.
No one
Okay.
asks who you voted for when March rolls around.
I feel like that's just not true.
It is true.
It's definitely
Especially
true.
because March is like Women's History Month, so people are arguing about politics, about women.
I'm sorry, it's what?
Well,
Women's
yeah,
History
what?
Month?
Wait, women have contributed things that have been notable in history?
Yes. Which
Does
is
that
not
take
to-
like an hour to go over? They
Which
need
is
a whole
not.
month?
I'm not taking a stance on Women's History Month. I'm just saying that March. I don't know. Whatever. So March
That
Madness
is
is
so
going on.
funny. Women's History Month is the same month as the biggest sporting event of the year,
I actually had no idea, dude.
and no one knows it because of it.
It is Women's History Month, isn't it?
You don't
I
even know.
wouldn't
so
know.
that's
I'm
the
pretty
point.
sure. I think I've
Well,
seen things on Twitter.
Point
but
being, it's March Madness. Women can find a different month, or I guess 15 to 20 minutes to tell us what they've done, and then we'll go from there.
How about carrying on the human race
Yeah. Okay.
What, are
well,
we
there
not
we
as
go.
part
a
of that?
contribution?
That's
Are we not part of that? That's half us.
yeah.
Right, but you guys don't actually carry
We literally
the human
carry
race.
sperm.
but which is not human.
Okay, is your egg human?
No, but then we carry the
Okay,
human.
we're getting way off track now.
This is kind of gross. It's like kind of gross. Okay, so
go. What are we here to talk about?
we are here to talk today about Kourtney
Kourtney
Kardashian.
Kardashian's nude photo.
Yes.
Very
so,
natural.
Yeah, she was in the bathtub, and apparently this picture was like really photoshopped. Like if you look at her leg, she's like laying on her side, and her bottom leg
Is like
Hold
2
on.
feet too far.
I want to let's set the scene. Can we describe the photo? It's Kourtney Kardashian with some tasteful bubbles covering up.
Tasteful bubbles.
Have you ever actually tried to get bubbles like that, so like where you could cover your body with in
No,
the
I've
bathtub?
never
It's
tried.
really hard, like to actually get bubbles that dense.
Why were you trying?
No, I was just like, I've seen those pictures and I'm like,
Yeah, Katrina, why were you trying it?
I've just seen those pictures and I'm like, oh, is that actually, like, can you actually get bubbles like that? And no, bubbles are transparent.
When I'm in a bathtub, and I can't remember the last time I took a bath, because I think once you're like 6 years old, you just start taking showers. But I can't remember the last time I took a bath. I certainly don't know if I've ever even had bubbles in a bath, period.
You've definitely had bubbles in your bath.
don't
Like, as a
think so.
baby, like your mom
Well-
didn't pour bubble bath in?
That
No.
was before he had a say in it.
Yeah, so I don't even
So it doesn't
remember. I
count?
don't even remember that. I mean, obviously, I'm just saying. Like, number one, why are you in a bathtub? Two, just take a shower. It's better for the environment. You know, these liberal yahoos out there talking about green energy, and yet they're wasting water.
Only liberals take baths?
I think so. Yes.
No,
Seems like
that's
a
not
liberal
true
thing
at all.
to do.
Baths are the height of luxury. You sit, you eat some lasagna, you've got
What?
a TV show going, you got candles.
Sounds like what a
What are you
fat.
talking
Sounds like a fat.
Amazing.
That sounds like a depressing dream of someone who's like 80 pounds
No,
overweight.
that sounds like my ideal Friday night.
That is
No.
So-
terrible.
If
That is
Garfield
so
was a
sad.
real person, that's how he would take that.
That is so sad.
So, but obviously Kourtney Kardashian takes baths because she was in one when she took this picture.
But did she really take that bath? Because apparently
Well, she
It's
had to.
Photoshop. Let's focus on a couple things. She's naked, number one. Let's get that on the
Let's
record.
just make sure that's
she's
out
been
there.
naked in photos before,
I
hasn't
know,
she?
I know, but
Okay.
I just want it on the record.
Don't you
that she
have-
was naked in this photo. Mm-hmm. Do we think it was photoshopped?
Obviously.
Yeah,
I
Because, yeah, obviously, her leg.
Here's a better question. Does it matter, though? I would say no, it doesn't, because no one cares about that. They're just here to see a nude photo.
Isn't that like a little unattractive though?
What do you
What?
mean?
Like
Which part?
the photoshopping, the idea that she's she's doctoring up her photo so you don't actually know what her body really looks like, and two, she needs affirmation that she's beautiful so badly that she will
I
put
don't
her
think it's
picture
really
through
about her.
post-processing.
Like, we're talking about it.
Was
Would we
it
have
for-
talked about it if she wasn't in a nude photo?
Was it for a company? Like, was it selling something? Because then the
I don't
company
think so.
probably is the person behind all this.
It
I
might
don't
be
think
for
so.
her brand. She's like starting a brand, I
Let
think,
me
called
see
like
if I-
Poosh or something like that.
Poosh?
La
it's
Poosh?
a really weird name.
Sounds like the douchiest thing in the world.
But it was just on her personal Instagram, right? Which
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not a business
These
thing,
cameras can't. This camera cannot see my phone, right?
No.
but- Well,
No, it's
this
in on
one
her.
can.
But it can't. This cannot
can't
see
see
No,
the
the
no,
screen.
no, no, no,
No.
no. So your nudes are safe.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
What was I gonna say? That's going in, by the way.
Yeah, she geotagged, or she tagged Poosh. So it's a branding thing.
So, I mean, but that's not, to me, that screams like, I need attention. Isn't that?
Oh, the nude photo?
Yeah.
Okay, she
I don't
has
think it's-
another nude photo from March 4th that's even more.
Risque?
Yeah, that's even dicier. I mean, she's about half an inch away from a nipple hanging out.
Is it the one where she's sitting on a counter wrapped in
Yeah.
a towel and her, like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not new for her. Look, as someone who knows a thing or two about the old Instagram game, I would tell you that most of what you see is likely not 100% authentic. Now, you didn't need me to tell you that because it's pretty obvious.
Right.
This is just so bad at what appears to be such a terrible Photoshop that it's actually funny, but it could have been on purpose. Because when she's dropped nude photos before, it doesn't really get everyone talking. But now, we're debating.
That's actually
true.
a good point. I haven't thought about
Probably on purpose.
that. Because if you post yourself half naked all the time, people are going to get naked fatigue. So you got to do something a little
I don't know
different.
if men get naked fatigue.
Well, but the general public. Because you're saying that people aren't talking
Yeah,
about
but those photos aren't meant for the general public. They're meant for a
She put them on her Instagram with like millions of
I know,
followers.
but the people,
What do you mean they're
the people
not?
on her Instagram that those are meant for are
The general public.
No, they're meant for the male audience.
Or
I
the
don't
general
think so.
public. They're
I
also
don't think
meant
the
for
audience
females.
of
Women?
Keeping Up with the Kardashians is
Nah,
majority
but there's
men.
a lot of guys that follow those people just for the. They're not there for the products. They just want to see nude photos.
It's not just for men though. It's for women too. That's why you put hot women on men's magazines and women's magazines. Because it's aspirational for women.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Well, that's delusional, of course. Like I look at
What?
I look at an NFL player and I'm like, wow, if only I worked out a little harder, I would be 6'6", 240 pounds and playing middle linebacker for the Redskins.
No, but the difference is like Kourtney Kardashian is not this insane like bodybuilder model. That's a little different. You don't really see those on magazines. But if she posts a picture of herself like half naked in your bath, women can think, "Oh, I'm not too far from that."
Yeah, but they are far from that.
Well,
and it's
they might
important
be.
it's important to draw lines.
They might be, but it's close enough that in their mind they like to see it as motivational.
I had a woman seriously once tell me with a straight face that she thought she was better looking than most of the world's most famous models. Okay?
Well, that's just confident.
But it was delusional. If I tell you I'm better than most of the guys in the NBA, would you play along with that, or would you be like, this is delusion?
Okay, but physical attraction is not the same as athletic ability.
Okay, fine. If I told you I was better looking than Brad Pitt, would you be like,
That's probably subjective to an extent.
any woman...
You keep dodging the question.
I'm not touching the
Yeah,
question.
you
I'm
are.
trying to be
Anyone who
nuanced. I'm being
tells-
nuanced.
Anyone who tells me I'm better looking than Brad Pitt is a liar or they're blind. I can admit that. I have the confidence in myself to admit
The
that.
confidence. Actually, maybe it depends on how they qualify good looking.
Okay, sure. The crystal blue eyes that I have, I get all that. And I'm sure they're popping today because of the wardrobe choice. But I'm just saying,
I was
like,
going to ask, was that intentional?
no, it wasn't. But it always seems that when I rotate through my clothes, this just happens to be.
This is your Wednesday
Yeah,
shirt.
it's just my Wednesday shirt.
Okay, but all right. On Instagram,
Yep.
what are the rules for like a good Instagram post? If photoshopping your body doesn't make it a bad
Are you wearing
post.
clothes in the Instagram post? That's going to be a bad one. We're going to want to avoid those posts.
Wait, so Instagram, just for like a regular person, Instagram is just for posting naked?
I don't think regular people should have Instagram.
What do you mean, like even girls?
Okay, wait, what?
I don't think regular people should have Instagram.
Wow,
why
are you
not?
serious?
I don't have Instagram.
But like, what about girls?
Are they hot?
So only hot girls should have Instagram?
I don't even think most hot girls should have Instagrams. Like,
So then who should have an Instagram?
only people who are doing things that I'm not capable of doing myself
Okay.
should have Instagram. I only want to see things that are interesting and unique to me. If I can see them on a regular or daily basis or can do them myself, I'm not interested.
Okay, I actually kind of understand that.
What about if it's for seeing your friends though? Like if they
know
live
what
away
Facebook's
from
for?
you. But
Or
what
like
if you don't
Twitter?
like Facebook's privacy invasions or it's,
Instagram
it's
is
overwhelming?
You know Instagram's owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, what if the format you prefer Instagram to Facebook?
I mean,
Because it's more picture driven.
It is more picture driven. You can do it. I'm just saying, like, most people, to me, are fake on Instagram. Most regular people, I'm talking now. They post photos to make me believe that their life is something it's not. If
Yeah.
you want to have an Instagram, I want to see the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. Someone, good friend of mine, once told me it's supposed to be like a highlight reel. You actually know the person who referred, and I thought that's all cool and dandy. But like highlight reels aren't real. You know, Michael Jordan missed a lot of shots in his NBA career, and if you just watched his highlight reels, you'd think this guy never missed a shot. Like it's just not realistic. So I would prefer something that's the ups and the downs and everything, and Instagram's not that. I know women who behave on a way on Instagram that is not at all what they're like in real life.
Yeah.
They portray their life at all. It's like I grew up with you. I know what you're like. This like delusional fantasy you're living out online. It's
Why
just,
would you want to see the downs? I
Because it's
understand
real,
wanting to
it's
see
more
unique things that you won't see in your regular life ever. That sounds awesome and interesting. But like, why would I ever want to see somebody like vomiting in an
that's not
alleyway
what I
or
mean.
something?
That's not what I mean.
Vomiting
It's
in
just
an
like
alley.
if you're gonna. I like the authenticity of anything. It's why I like certain sports coaches because they're more authentic than others. Like when things go bad, you should just say they're going poorly. Like at least then I respect you as being an honest person. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I agree that a lot of people are super, super fake on social media, which is annoying. But at the same time, I think that Instagram is just like it's like a photo album, you know? And you don't record your worst moments in a photo album. That's for your diary. You know, I think medium matters. So you would put pictures of like your birthday and happy vacations in your photo album. And I just think Instagram is like a photo album that you could just share with everybody.
Yeah, I think of it as like a promotional tool, but that's because I'm like a photographer.
But it's a little different. You work in a field that is like Instagram is almost cultivated for. And I guess in a
That's true.
sense we all do. I'm just saying
Yeah.
I hate how 99% of people who are not celebrities behave on Instagram. They think like that's what they are. And it's like, number one, I don't have Instagram because anything in my life worth sharing is not something I want the public to be aware of. You know what I mean? Like
Also true.
I don't want like anything really nice I own. This was some great wisdom that I got from my dad once. It's like you should, one of the reasons you should not like post photos of things you have online is because one, it's going to entice people to try to take them from you. Because you have no idea.
Oh, nice things that you own?
Yeah.
Like your TV? Well,
No,
yeah.
no. If I post photos of like rare guns and things like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do that. That's,
But so like what, you know, I don't know what it is and that I would post that I would be comfortable with the world knowing that they don't already know. Like what, me in front of a TV, like Badgers are up 14-10 and it, like
no, it would be like your birthday, or like if you're hanging out with some really good friends you haven't seen in a while, and you take pictures and you guys are together again, and other
Is
people.
that the instinct? I've never like hung out with my friends and been like, I want to take a picture of us being together. Like,
What? That's my instinct. I think that there are different circles on Instagram. Like, you know, obviously there are fitness models, and they have a certain thing that they post, and
love
they're
them. Love fitness models.
So what about fitness models that are just like everyday people? They're not actors or singers or anything.
Yeah, but if
that
they have a
doesn't-
large enough following, then they're insta famous. So it's a little different.
How do they build their following if they're not insta famous when they start? So it's not okay until they are famous.
I mean, some of them are like well known from like YouTube, and they were on Facebook and Twitter. So they had followings before they just hopped on Instagram.
But they still have to build that
There's
following.
also only like 4 or 5 actual very famous fitness models in terms of the Instagram sphere. There's not many. There's very few of them, actually.
What would you qualify as Instagram famous? How many followers?
I would say at 500,000, you're starting to get in the conversation. Once you have 1 million or more, that's when I would say you're Insta famous.
Yeah. It seems like there are a lot. You know what? I think you're right in the sense that there are a lot of Instagram models who do fit things, but they're not fitness models.
They're not fitness models.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I haven't really thought of that before. I don't know, but think about Instagram from the flip side. Like, not as someone who's posting, but someone who's consuming. Like, it's really nice.
That's the only side I'm on.
It's nice to see your friends doing stuff. Like, if you miss them. Or family.
Yeah,
you know?
But it's like, I totally disagree with you in the sense that it's always good to see people succeed, but I have, a very small group of what I would consider the inner circle.
Yeah.
I speak to those people on a very consistent, regular basis.
Yeah.
I know what they're up to. I don't need to see it on Instagram.
But it's just a different medium. So if you talk to them on the phone, that's different than seeing their face, like seeing a smile that you missed because you weren't there with them. And sometimes it's nice to see
So
that.
it sounds like you have fear of missing out. That's kind
No,
of...
it's not that. It's like missing people. Like, if you love someone but they're not with you, then you get to see them be happy in their life.
So why don't you just FaceTime them?
Yeah, why don't you just FaceTime?
Well, because FaceTiming takes a lot more time than getting to see a picture of them.
Yeah,
Plus,
but
it's also
Plus-
much more personal.
well, no, I think you should FaceTime people too, but photography is a different medium too than FaceTime.
I do hate
Sure.
FaceTime, by the way.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I think it's really dumb.
hate it.
I hate it when people are FaceTiming while they're walking on the sidewalk. I don't
Yeah,
understand
that's really annoying. They always run into stuff.
But I feel like you're like being weirdly voyeuristic. You're like, I want to see them enjoying themselves,
What?
but I don't want
That's
to talk
not
to them about
voyeuristic.
it.
That's
You know,
loving.
one of my favorite people on social media is Tim Kennedy, who I've spoken to for
Yeah.
interviews and stuff. Great guy, nice guy, class act. The reason why I like Tim Kennedy so much is he is just way more authentic. It's not all sunshine and roses all the time.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Tim Kennedy, Green Beret sniper, a lot of, experience in the military, fought in the UFC, fantastic individual. But he's very open about everything. And it makes it way more fascinating and interesting to me as the viewer that I know that this is when he says something that it's the actual real thing.
So if you are following someone on Instagram
Or Twitter or anywhere
or
else.
wherever, you want them to be all in, like share everything.
If they're going to give me the highs and they want me to believe that that's their life, because I know it's not, no one lives sunshine and roses, but if they want to give me that, if that's the way they're going to go, that they're going to build this fantasy land world, unless they give me something on the other side of the pendulum's got to swing, I don't believe it, and I'm not interested. It's boring. Anyone can fake that reality.
But what if social media just isn't the right medium for that? What if that's more of a personal conversation where they talk to you about hardship and struggle, but social media is for the bright moments in life, and it's an artistic curation of your happiness.
Wouldn't we grow more as individuals if it was both and it was balanced?
I don't think so. I actually don't really like when people post all their troubles on social media because I think it reinforces a victimization mindset where they like your post and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're going through this hard time. It doesn't have the same value as a person-to-person conversation.
I'm not saying that you should do it because you're playing a victim. But you could be like, you know what? Spent 4 hours at the range today. Shot really, really bad for the first 2 hours. Changed some things up, stayed committed to it, show us the pictures of the bad targets, show us the pictures of working your way up to the good targets. That's real. I believe that.
But that is a positive message. You're showing your improvement.
But he wants an
negativity.
acknowledgement. Yeah.
I want to know the story. I want to know where it began, not just where it ended.
I mean, I understand, but what if we're just talking about something like you went to cut down a Christmas tree and you took a picture of you and your family cutting down a Christmas tree? Can't you just post that so that other people see your happy family enjoying the Christmas season together?
I mean, I'm not interested in that anyways because it sounds like there's no naked women in that one. But
the truth comes out. Wait, okay, so when it comes to famous people, obviously the rules are different.
yeah,
And hot women who are relatively famous with over 50,000 followers.
500,000.
500,000
That's when you can
followers.
start to
And
think
actually,
about it. The
let
real
me-
bar is milk.
Let's make sure what I'm about to say we clip for social because
Okay.
I will spray away. Let me say something and let me be crystal clear. I want there to be no confusion. These women I see on Instagram with like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 followers, 8,000, maybe even 15,000, breaking their backs to get Instagram famous should be arrested, should be put into prison cells, because they're the worst of Instagram. The celebrities are not the worst of Instagram. The people using it who are just normal, they're not the worst. I have issues with so much of Instagram and social media. But these people who are like, I have 5,000 followers and, like they'll do anything for attention, those people are terrible. And because we can't shoot them in a missile out to outer space and put them in like a moon prison colony, we'll just have to imprison them here, because those people are the worst. I know people like that. They make me want to kill myself. They're so annoying.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say I agree with you. But let me say this. First of all, those people that you say it's acceptable for them to post like that on Instagram, they have to build their audience in order to be that famous. So they have to have those 15,000 followers at some point in order to get to half a million.
What if they're 3 years in and they have 10,000 followers?
So you're saying that
it's a failure at that point.
Why? Why can't they get it in 5 years? You're setting a time limit on success. What happens to tenacity and perseverance?
I hate to sound like a dick here, but I'm going to say it. The modeling game has an expiration date on it. And if you haven't made it by 25 or 26, I hate to tell you, it's just not your gig.
But just because you've been on Instagram for 3 years doesn't mean that you're automatically like 25 or 26.
No, it doesn't.
A lot of people start young now. Also,
and more things than just Instagram, my friend.
Also, I'm just saying, I know, I totally agree with you, but why does having followers make that behavior acceptable and having no followers makes it unacceptable?
Okay, if I got into the newsroom one day and just started slinging footballs around and just drilling things left and right, and I'm like, but wait, Aaron Rodgers goes to his work, and throws footballs around, you would say, yeah, he's a professional athlete. That's what he gets paid to do.
That's not an appropriate comparison, because you're in the newsroom, so you shouldn't be throwing footballs in a newsroom.
Wait, but you mean his job is to throw footballs and mine isn't? So just because he does it doesn't mean I can?
No, but it'd be different. You're not even in the same field. Like if you were a football player.
We're in the sports field.
No, you're in the sports writer field. He is in the sports playing field. Those are two very different.
It's the world of sports.
Those are very different when you're talking about comparing Instagram models who are just not as successful as other Instagram models, but fundamentally it's the same job.
It's not that they're just, no, it's not. Okay, if me and my friends get together and put on a skit, are we actors?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
You are. You're amateur actors.
We're not.
Yes, you are. You're amateur actors.
No,
you're just not professional.
This is the everybody gets an award generation.
No, it's not.
Now.
I'm still saying they're unsuccessful. Not to mention that's still not a fair comparison, because we're talking about professionals in general. So if you get paid to star in a local play, you're a professional actor. Now, you're not as successful as someone who works in a Hollywood film, but you're both still in the same field, still professional. You're just not as successful. But you have to start somewhere in order to become successful one day.
Okay, back to my main point is these women who spend all this time breaking their backs, someone has got to tell them it ain't ever going to happen for you. And I can do that. I can be that guy. I can be the guy who goes to all these failing women on Instagram and be like, stop it. Jesus loves you. You're not going to be a success. There's no money in this for you.
But what about the people who do think their content is high quality?
They're wrong?
Well,
why?
If it's low quality.
In your opinion.
Wait, if it was high quality, wouldn't they be famous?
Not necessarily. If they have a niche market, or they just have, it's just a small audience, but those people like it.
I'm only talking about the women who think they're models here.
Yeah.
That's the sphere I'm talking about.
But what if they are? They're just not as successful.
Eventually, you know what? I eventually had to recognize I was not going to play in the NHL.
What if their aspirations aren't to be in the Victoria's Secret fashion show? They're just to be as successful as they have the potential to be. So they work as hard as they can to fulfill that potential.
Okay, it's like watching a kid tread water forever to keep his head above it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how the story ends. Like, let's just save time.
Or they could learn to swim. They don't have to drown. Time.
Okay.
Or what if they just like treading water? What if they're just doing it for fun?
You know people who tread water for fun?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, you guys are having a very weird conversation.
No, you don't.
Yeah, how did we get here from Kourtney Kardashian?
See, what you are is you're the defender of Instagram and Instagram culture. And I don't have a problem with some parts of Instagram. I'm just telling you, it has warped parts of our society. Because everyone, like all social media, thinks they're important.
Yeah.
99.999999 repeating people in society, their opinions don't need to be heard.
No, I agree with you. I just like to argue with you. I think Instagram is horrible. I mean, I love it for the fact of like curating photography, and
What handles can people follow you
I
at?
have 3 Instagrams actually.
Jesus.
No, but I like it. I like it for the aspect of like sharing your photo album moments. I think that's why it's nice. Is sharing the highlight reel. I agree with that.
All right, so sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're
what do you
good.
guys think about Instagrams that aren't like about people? They're about like objects. So like people take photos and stuff, like
travel photography.
travel photography.
That's nice. I think
People
that's
who are
very
always
nice.
like photographing their laptops and stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
like extra special cups of coffee, something like that.
I think that's great because it's a form of just like creative energy. It injects something into your life that you don't get from just print, or that you don't get just from your monotonous day-to-day living. You know what I mean? I think it's nice. It's just creative energy. What I don't like is the like, I'm sitting in my car, look at my very hot expression, I'm not even doing anything, this is just a picture of my cleavage with an emoji as a caption. I don't like that.
The best is the women who think any guy on the face of the planet is dumb enough to think like, oh, it's just a casual morning on my couch watching football, eating wings, and I have the smallest bra I could find, and it barely stays on. But this is just how I normally hang out on my couch.
I'm so surprised though to hear that you don't like that.
I don't. If they're famous, fine. If they're not,
How
don't
does
want to
being
hear it.
famous make it different?
Dude,
Because
I
at
know
least there's
so
something
many
like-
chicks who have. I gotta be careful here, because I know
Watch yourself.
people who watch this, and I gotta be very careful. I know is in like members of my family. They're not gonna like how I describe this. I know a lot of chicks who I don't know if I'd call hoe it up, but get very sexually promiscuous. It's almost like they're chasing some level of validation. I don't get it. It's quite, and it again, if that's a brand and it's monetized and it's lucrative, I get that. That's the modeling game. If you're just doing that because like it fills a hole in your life or something, like get the fuck out of here. Like it is so unbearable.
Okay.
Some might say that it's a good parallel to pornography, but I'm just gonna.
Well, no, it is. Like, wait, what do you mean?
What are you
like,
talking-
Just for like on the female side, it's an artificial experience that in a very shallow way replicates the real experience of having someone like love you.
Are you saying Instagram is porn for women?
Kind of, yeah, it kind of is. When you post like a picture of yourself that you're like, oh, I look so good in this, and it's like sexually promiscuous looking, especially, and people validate that by liking it. It's sort of that same like boost that is artificial.
If you actually knew you were good and like you were attractive and all that stuff, you wouldn't do that.
I mean, what do you mean you wouldn't do that?
You wouldn't feel the need to post photos.
Exactly.
Do you see me walking
exactly.
around this office telling people like how good I am at everything I do?
How blue your
Yes.
eyes are?
No.
Yes.
No, you don't.
You totally do.
Do you see me walking around reminding people of life accomplishments unironically? Of course not.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Wait, you're talking about yourself now.
We'll just agree to disagree. But point being, you know, if you got $10 million in the bank, like the famous, Obama's little speech, if you are confident in who you are, you probably don't have 8 women in bikinis dancing around you. And if you got a bunch of money in the bank, you probably aren't wearing a gold chain around your neck. Like,
Yeah.
if you know you're good looking when you look in the mirror, you don't need the affirmation from a guy. Like, I know so many women, like, I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him.
I think it's difficult too for women because there's so much of it on Instagram. It's hard not, and you see other people affirming it, and it's hard not to be like, well, is that what I should be doing? Like, am I weird because I don't do that?
Is it that thing, like, you know how women say that they put on makeup for other women, not
Oh,
necessarily
yeah.
for, like, is Instagram like that? Like, you're competing with each other, it's not really for us.
It isn't. I think it's two-sided. Women put on makeup for men and women, but definitely for men too, I think. But Instagram is the same. Like, even if it's mostly for other women, there's still that element where it's for men. Like, women get to women through men. Do you know what I mean? If a bunch of guys affirm that you are attractive in your Instagram picture, that tells women something.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my take at least. I'm not the most familiar with being successful on social media. I have like 5 followers. So.
All right.
My point. Well, just real quick.
Just to wrap this one up.
Yeah, to wrap this up. There are different rules for famous people and non-famous people in all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're no better where seen than on Instagram. I, honest to God, feel bad for some women who chase attention. It's almost like they didn't get it at some other point. I don't know. Like, I'm not a psychologist. I cannot dive into the brain of women between the ages of 19 and 30. I just can't. But I will say this. Some of them are wired very differently from others, because I know some women who actually have very reasonably large followings who are very conservative in what they're willing to do on social media. And then I see a woman with a fraction of that who hoes it up, and it's like, one of these people is confident in who they are, and the other one's not. And it's not the one, and the one who's confident is not the one dropping bikini photos.
Yeah, but the one who's confident is also like probably a pretty talented person who was successful in their job, and like there are things that are appealing about them that are not just their looks.
So are you saying that if you post like sexy photos on Instagram, like it might be all you got going for you?
You're probably insecure.
Like if that's the only thing you post.
Absolutely. I think so.
I'm tying some names here in my mind. That might be right. I don't know.
I mean, that's not like the politically correct thing to say, because I think a lot of girls are like, oh, like F that, I'm empowered because, you know, I'm naked on Instagram. But I think it comes from a level of insecurity because you are looking to get affirmed in some way.
Free the nip.
So, what?
Free the nipple? Oh my gosh. All right, so I feel like I've noticed a weird trend of dudes on Instagram, not even just Instagram, but dudes taking photos with coffee. It's really weird.
Yeah, like kind of that used to be a very feminine thing, I feel like.
What, taking coffee photos?
Well, when Starbucks and like Ugg boots were really big.
Oh yeah, pumpkin spice.
Yeah. But we have to talk about the big guy and coffee story this week, which is on
Mr.
Twitter,
Booker.
Not Instagram, but Cory Booker.
Another shit social media platform.
Do you like anything on the internet?
No.
Well, for certain people, you do.
Well, yeah, but I'm not famous enough. My opinions
You're
don't matter.
verified on Twitter.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
Are you
jack
verified
shit.
on
He's
Twitter?
verified on Twitter.
Doesn't mean anything.
That's awesome.
She's like,
see,
whatever.
that's the privilege. That's a privilege of a person who's verified on Twitter.
No, because
White male
I probably
privilege
should.
showing here. You're not verified. I'm not verified.
I probably
we all know why.
there's no real reason for me to be verified. To be totally, the only reason I think I was is people made fake accounts. So then I think they do it to prove who the real one is. I don't need to be verified. Pretty much no one who works here needs to be verified. Tucker, I guess, needs to be verified.
Unless people make fake accounts, that's reasonable.
Even so, though, like, it's so easy to tell which one is. But now I'm going off on a whole different
Yeah,
route.
you're just talking about yourself.
Jack
talking about yourself all the time.
Dorsey's probably going to see this and I'll be unverified by tomorrow morning. So
he doesn't want to be verified.
And shadow
anymore.
banned.
that would actually be hilarious to know that Twitter watches this to the point to where they unverified me.
That
but
would be funny, actually.
Do
But
you think we could shape Twitter policy if we just start bitching about stuff?
I don't think we're
the Daily
influential
Caller as a company could. Any individual here, no. And maybe even the Daily Caller couldn't, but they could raise
Enough of a stink.
They could raise enough of. They could make enough of a scene where, like Joe Rogan, and people with actual influence could, actual major influence.
Could get stuff done. Okay, but sorry. Pull this off topic.
Cory Booker. We're
Cory
talking
Booker
about
and his
Cory
weird
Booker.
coffee obsession.
So he's been tweeting like every year or 2 years apparently about being in a he's using the same joke over and over, and he's like, oh, I'm breaking up with sleep to go out with coffee because she's like hot and stimulating.
Hey, we all love things that are hot and stimulating, am I right?
Oh my
It's been a long time since I've had anything hot and stimulating, but
Oh my gosh, you didn't just say that. Okay, wow. This made me like Cory Booker a lot more though, because I thought it was really funny.
I mean, it's like a good dad joke, but like,
I'm such a fan of dad jokes.
no,
No.
it's terrible.
No, I love them. I think they're
Boo.
so funny.
Boo.
Like if every candidate came out making dad jokes, I just think that would be the best thing ever.
No.
I think politics would be a lot warmer and happier.
So what's your beef with Cory Booker over coffee? Should men not tweet about coffee?
No, I actually don't have any
They just
beef.
shouldn't tweet, period.
My take, no, they should tweet. My take on this was that I thought it made him more likable to tweet the same dad joke like every year.
That's
I
really
don't want
weird.
my presidential candidate to be tweeting about virtually anything. I want him in the jungles of Vietnam fighting terrorists.
Like
That's
Teddy
what-
Roosevelt?
That feels wrong too.
That's what-
that
that's
feels
what-
a little-
Yeah, I want what happened to the Teddy Roosevelts of our world?
Well, I don't know actually how he died. I was going to say he fell off a cliff, but
you
I
should
don't
be
think that's true.
ineligible to be president unless you've killed an enemy combatant.
I don't know if that's true. You should probably be president if your policies fit in line with what's best
but
for the country.
I also want
and-
those gritty, edgy guys.
Okay, people like you drive me crazy though when
Why?
it comes to election season because they only look at personality and they don't actually look at philosophy.
Okay, you realize that pretty much no policy that is set on the campaign trail means anything, right?
Also
That's not
pretty
true. If you set forward an actual policy plan, like that's a better basis for voting, I think, than personality.
How many
Like,
policies?
why would you vote for someone based on their personality?
Because if they seem like they're steadfast in their convictions, I know that their policy ideas probably aren't getting passed anyways, no matter who gets elected. So at least
What
I
are
want.
you talking about? Are you unaware of how
I
the
don't think
political
so.
system
I
works?
think you only get the one big policy that you push in the
That
campaign
is,
trail.
you get one. You get one. Obama got Obamacare.
Yeah.
Trump wants a wall. That will never happen.
It's too late now. Tax cuts.
This
That's
is
what
what you're
Tax
saying
cuts,
is
that's
so.
it. Yeah, that'll be his legacy. Tax cuts.
But what you're
And
saying
the
is so
Supreme Court.
arbitrary.
Oh, that's also true.
Supreme Court probably will, especially if he gets one more.
What you're saying is so arbitrary.
What do you mean it's
You're just
arbitrary?
making up rules like, oh, you can only get one thing.
No, it's
done.
not.
That's
We're
not true
talking
at all.
about, like, in practice, people make a ton of promises on the campaign
Right.
trail. But, like, when they actually get into office, they only really do one thing that they said they were going to do.
And it's not because they might not want to do them all. It's just like they're not going to let these candidates do whatever
Yeah.
they want.
I hear what you're saying about like people lying on the campaign trail about what
It's
their
not
policies
lying. It's just, like, over...
actually are.
They're
But I'm saying you
overpromised,
shouldn't listen to rhetoric and you should listen to what people's actual policy plans are.
That's right.
Those don't matter. All
What
that
are you talking
matters
about? That's
is
what you
whether
should
or not
vote
the
based
guy.
on.
Okay, but those policy plans are not going to get enacted. So if you vote,
Obviously, some of them will.
so there's going to be a lot of compromise along the way. So do you want someone who you believe is a straight shooter, or do you want a guy who just says things policy-wise that you agree with?
no, I want someone that I believe genuinely is putting forth a specific
You want to
policy.
know why? You know who Jim Webb is? He ran on the Democratic ticket.
No.
No,
Okay,
who's that?
he was very early on in the debates. There were some rumors he might be he was the Secretary of the Navy, I think, under Reagan. But then he ran as a Democrat, senator from Virginia.
Okay.
He got up on the debate stage, and they're like, "Who's the biggest enemy?" And Hillary Clinton's like, "The NRA or Republicans." And everyone
Yeah.
gives these bullshit answers. They get to him. You know what he says?
What?
He says something along the lines, "The only enemies I got were the ones I killed in Vietnam." And I thought right away, that guy is the only guy on stage to be
That's
qualified to be president.
That's not a political philosophy.
But he was the most honest one.
How do you know that? Maybe Hillary Clinton genuinely believes the NRA is the biggest enemy.
But she doesn't, because she knows if she becomes president, she's going to have to deal with them and compromise. Do you compromise with your enemies? Jim Webb killed them. He killed his
You
enemies.
can just kill your enemies when you're the president. You're not even talking about politics. You're talking about someone that you would just like to
But I'm
hang out
saying the
with.
personality. So when he's out here
Your
talking
president shouldn't be your best friend. They should be a thought leader.
violent warriors aren't my best friends, but they
But
exist
you want
for a
them to
reason.
be.
I want them to exist and do their job. So I don't want Cory Booker. I don't want anyone who's talking about coffee and things like that. I want a warrior.
Coffee has nothing to do with his policy, though. You could disagree with his policy.
No, but he's saying it's about the attitude. Like, Cory Booker seems like a lame dude because he's making jokes about coffee.
This is like choosing who sits with you at the lunch table in high school.
When I think
Who
of
the lame
when I think of a president, I think, is this a guy I'd want in my foxhole in the Battle of the Bulge? Is this a guy I'd want next to me in a gunfight?
Is this the guy who went next to me at the lunch table in high school? That's what you're saying.
No, there's a lot of buddies I have that I hang out with, spend time with, but I wouldn't be like, wow, if we get into a gunfight, I hope you are the one standing next to
Okay,
me.
but the president is not getting into gunfight routinely.
But he's getting into a metaphorical gunfight every day. He's
So you should
president.
pick people that are intellectually sound and solid, that they can stand up to those metaphorical
So
gunfights.
only geniuses can be president.
I mean, I would prefer that.
I don't. Have we ever had a genius that was president?
But I'm
Definitely
just
not.
you don't have to
No.
be you don't have to be a genius.
Maybe in the 1800s, early on.
You don't
but-
have to be a genius in terms of like the actual like IQ definition of a genius, but I just think you should be somebody who's well versed in a political philosophy. Yeah, I think that's a good quality.
So you must hate Donald Trump,
Well, I mean, I don't know that I would say I hate
but you
him.
don't think he should be president. You think he should resign right now for Mike Pence, who is obviously much better suited.
I like Mike Pence a lot.
That's not what I asked you. Clearly, you believe by your own standards, Trump is not qualified to be president.
I don't think that. My personal opinion is that he's not. His policy, I think, is not necessarily consistent, or at least especially wasn't on the campaign trail. And I don't think it is a good match for my political ideology. No.
Okay, there you go. Katrina hates
Stop,
Trump.
I don't hate Trump, and like
Hillary
I
Clinton would
don't
have been a
hate
much
Trump.
better president, though. She had policy ideas.
No, it's not just about having policy
Oh,
ideas. It's about
okay,
having
what-
the ones that I agree with. I would vote for someone who has the same policy ideas that I have. Yeah.
And I want someone that is going to be good with, a handgun if it comes to
Okay,
it.
but you're the kind of person who votes
Look,
for someone like Obama, who is cool, and you want to hang out with him.
I didn't vote
but
for Obama.
I know, but
How
but
dare
your-
you
what-
smear me?
Your philosophy
dare
that you're
you
talking
smear
about
me?
is that exactly someone who votes for him because he's cool, but his policies are actually
Killing people in a foxhole ain't necessarily cool. It's just
Okay, but you
sometimes
know what I'm
necessary.
saying, like-
I want someone who's battle hardened. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so if someone is a veteran that you respect as a veteran, but they are a socialist, what are you looking at in terms of how you view that?
Well, what type of veteran are we talking here? Were they a
Delta Force. I always want to say Delta Force because of that Larry Cable Guy movie.
I don't think there's. First off, you can't be socialist and get into Delta Force.
But let's say you are. Let's say you are.
Why not?
Because they would screen away from people like that. They will. That's not going to happen.
But let's just say it did. Just for
So,
funsies.
we're living in fantasy.
Okay,
For
yes.
funsies.
Indulge in the fantasy.
Okay, yep.
After
I'm just
he
trying-
leaves
yeah.
Delta Force, he begins a political
He was
career.
radicalized. Yeah.
He was radicalized.
After Delta Force.
Well, so
I'm just trying to get to know your philosophy.
In that case, he's a hardcore socialist,
Yeah.
and he gets the Democratic primary. He
Yep.
wins it.
Yep.
I wouldn't vote for him, but it's because he's socialist. If he was just an independent or a middle of the road guy, and he was like, yeah, you don't want to mess with me, I'd feel like this guy seems like someone I would want in my foxhole.
Okay, now if he is an independent, but he's a battle-hardened veteran from Delta Force, but then over here you have some twerp who looks like he gets beat up for his lunch money still at 40 years old.
So won't get anything done.
But he is absolutely solid on policy. You would vote for the guy who's not solid on policy.
I would vote for the guy who I think has a better chance of accomplishing what he's setting out to do.
Yeah, I think you made a bad case.
You made a
for
bad
twerp.
case because the option one,
Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
the twerp isn't going to do anything. Why
I would
would
vote
he?
for the twerp because if he is intellectually sound and he has actual
You know
political
that the
You said
philosophy,
he still
You know
looks
the
like he gets
smartest-
beat up for his lunch
Yeah,
money.
his physical demeanor.
You know the smartest people in politics are not elected officials, right? They're advisors.
what do you mean the smartest?
Like the smartest people in politics
Oh, like
are
the
not
academics.
elected officials.
Yeah, no, I know that. Like the people that work
So
at
that
think
guy-
tanks and
the-
stuff like
tho-
that.
Those people who try to, that actually try to run for office almost never win.
But I'm just saying I would vote for someone like that.
Okay, so would you, speaking of cool presidential candidates, what do you think about Beto?
Oh my gosh.
Skateboarding Beto?
Beto, I love to talk about.
Well, he got a DUI tried to get laid, so I can't blame too much for
Is
that.
that
but,
what the DUI
he
is
was
about?
on a booty call. He was taking his girlfriend back to his house.
Oh,
well, I think he was going to pick her up, wasn't
No,
he?
she was in the car. That's what I think. She was in the car.
Were there multiple DUIs?
No, I think it's just
I
the
thought I
one.
heard that he was alone in the car.
I thought he was going to get her, but that could be incorrect.
He was either on the way or coming from. I don't know exactly which one. But yeah, so there was a story that just came out about him. And he apparently gave his wife baby poop and said it was an avocado. That's a real story.
I don't
about a real
understand
person.
that. Did he put it right in for, how would she look at it and not be like, this is not...
Well, maybe she did, but he gave it to her. That's the story.
Why would he do that?
Allegedly, yeah. It's a friend told them.
I mean,
and
he's a freak,
Beto-
obviously.
Not in the fun way.
Not in the fun way. He's kind of a weird person, too. I mean... Yeah, I don't believe that story, number one, because any woman you handed a pile of shit to would break up with you almost certainly immediately.
You don't think they would think it was funny?
Not unless...
No.
Really?
Would
She's
you
got
find
weird
that funny?
taste.
I might find it funny.
Really?
Not like, I mean, maybe. I would have to be under the right context. Like,
There is no right context.
it could be funny.
I don't think there's a
like,
good
if they
context
set
for
it
me to-
up, it could be funny. Like, fart jokes are kind of funny.
Hey, honey, do you want this avocado? Ha, it's a poop. Like, what do you mean?
I would probably just laugh at the absurdity of it. Like, you don't think that would be hilarious?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
No.
never mind then. It's not funny at all.
I mean, there's a lot of things that disqualify him from being president. This just appears to be the latest of them. He's
Yeah.
a weird dude. He just seems
Yeah.
like a weird guy. Wasn't he in like a rock band at one time?
He was.
I think he's still in the band.
They were called Foss, which apparently is like Icelandic for waterfall. But their
So dumb.
drummer,
Wow.
no, this is really cool. I think he played the drums in their band. But one of their band members was a frontman for the Mars Volta.
What is that?
They're a very famous band.
From Indiana? Is that why you know who they
No,
are?
they're just a very famous band. I don't think they're from Indiana. And the
They can't be
lead
that
singer's obviously
famous
from El
because
Paso.
I've never heard of
No,
them
they're
in
a
my
very
life.
famous band. Do you guys even know like music, like band music?
Yeah. No, actually, I don't.
I was
really
gonna
do bands.
say, you want to rethink that? Okay, well, it's a famous band, so take my word for it. It's kind of cool. Just a fun fact. I'm not crazy about him either, but I just thought that was really exciting.
Okay, so you're gonna vote for Beto, and
No.
then if you can't
No.
vote for Beto, you're gonna vote for Cory Booker.
That's what I
No,
heard.
because I don't vote based on personality. I vote based on policy.
Okay, what?
Who'd
And
you
he
vote?
doesn't seem to
Did
have
you vote
one.
in 2016?
I didn't. I protest voted.
You can just say no. You don't have to be a hipster about it.
I'm not being a hipster. I'm being principled.
I just didn't vote. See, look how easy that was. No need to like
I
add
was
extra stuff
explaining it.
into it.
I was just
No
explaining
fanfare.
it.
He just the facts.
Just didn't vote.
All right, fine.
Did you vote in 2012? Were you old enough?
I
to
wasn't
vote?
old enough.
Who would you have voted for?
In 2012, was that McCain or Romney?
That was Romney.
That
that
was
was
Romney.
Romney.
Romney and Obama.
I would have voted for Romney.
A man who has switched his policy positions as often as the wind changes.
Yeah,
my
I mean,
God.
I definitely don't think he's the best on policy, especially because he implemented, what was it, like
Obamacare.
basically, yeah. I wouldn't have agreed with him about everything, but policy-wise, he was better.
Yeah, but the policy could have changed in like 15 minutes.
I think it was at least somewhat more consistent, and I felt like I didn't have enough information about Trump to vote for him in terms of what his policy would be.
Did
because
most
he had
people you
switched
know
so
voted
much.
for Trump?
Well, I mean, I was in college at the time, so most people I knew there voted for Clinton.
Sad. Oh yeah, you were in college.
Same deal.
too.
I was in college too.
Oh my gosh, I remember that day.
You guys are such young kids. Your whole lives are ahead of you.
I remember.
Me, I'm 45 years old apparently, so.
We'll get to
that is
that.
right.
We'll get to that in a minute. We have mean comments to read. Apparently, feelings are still hurt. Do you want to actually go to that now?
Yeah, let's just do
go
that.
to that now. So we love it when our viewers leave comments on our videos.
We're gonna start with, I think, the best comment.
Okay.
Did David Hookstead lose weight? He does not look as fat, although I must say it looks like his hair is thinning. There's a comment to that comment that says he looks 40 years old, and then the original commenter responds, he does, but I think he is in his 20s. He said he graduated college a few years ago, so at least people know.
Oh,
So I will answer those point by point. I have not lost weight. Not really. Like a couple pounds.
Built
but
some muscle?
hey.
I think I built some muscle. I'm doing the whole prison workout, which is a place I'll probably end up before my life's over. My hairline's been parked in the same place since I was about 16, but it is getting a little long. So I see you. I know you all know my hair's getting long. I know I need to get it cut, but
Do you ever think about mixing it up? You don't do a new hairstyle?
I just go in there and I'm like,
I'm
take care of
surprised
it.
you don't have a military cut. As enthusiastic as you are about the armed services.
Look, I get into debate. I have a lot of thoughts about the armed services, most of them positive. But no, I will not have a military haircut.
Well, that same person that left that comment has left comments like that about me before, so don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad.
Okay.
If I let internet commenters run my life, I'd have no happiness.
That's a good way
Hey,
to
when the
live.
guy's out on the football field and he's
no.
getting heckled from the
Here we
crowd,
go.
you think he cares? He just looks around and says, hey, buddy, I'm the one cashing the checks to throw a football, not you. I've already won.
Katrina, this one is for you.
Oh boy.
The comment is female, religious, uptight. Yeah, you've got a great insight into men's interest in porn. I'll be sure to listen to your advice any second now.
Okay,
Just
first
be lucky they didn't tell you to get into porn, which is how most women are treated in the comment section.
I feel like maybe I
Very
should.
true.
I feel like isn't that an insult though? Saying that
Get
like,
into porn? No.
No, that's
No, that means I wanna
That
see you
means-
naked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that means
that's
like
what I'm
you're really,
saying.
That means
I'm
like
saying-
you're really hot.
Yeah, and I'm saying since you said you should feel lucky that they didn't say that to you. I'm like, shouldn't I be a little
Well,
insulted?
no,
they didn't say that to
women
me?
get like very angry when people comment that like on their stuff. I mean, men and women think about those comments very differently. Men are like, "This chick's hot." Women are like, "Oh, that's so gross and offensive."
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know how to feel about that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Well, I feel like men's interest in porn is pretty obvious. I feel like it doesn't matter if you're religious. You can just know what that is, right? Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I'm a dude. I can't separate myself from my interest in porn.
Yeah,
so.
I'm pretty sure it's obvious what men's interest in porn is. I don't think that you need to be a man to know that. Whatever.
Fair enough.
All right. Somebody comments, porn is the death of the West. That's a very Sagar take.
Sagar and Jetty, our famed White House reporter.
He's like coming into our YouTube comments under a pseudonym to support me. Thank you.
You should actually screenshot that and send it out to the staff and be like, we found Sagar's burner handle.
Let's see. We got another one. I like porn. It builds character.
There's a lot of plot development. But
does anybody ever see the plot development?
Yeah, I think so. You got to get the whole story. You're getting the lowlights, the highlights, the whole thing.
Why is my boyfriend fucking my mom?
See, you got to know.
Is that a porn?
It's pretty typical, yeah.
Yeah. I had to think about that. Boyfriend, mom, yeah.
Is that...
What?
It's not real.
No.
Okay. Never mind.
What are you... No, come on.
Never mind. Let's just go to the next one.
All right, well, let's see. This is the last one. Guys not getting married has nothing to do with porn and has more to do with entitled women that can say marriage is over.
Preach.
And take everything a man works for his whole life and have his kids stored away.
Was this you?
This
was this your pseudonym?
That is amazing. I'm glad to see some men out there still call it as they see it.
Okay,
You know
be
what?
honest. Is that your burner
Yeah,
account?
pornography.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, I've never seen a porn star wake up in the middle of a video and be like, "Guess what? You're losing half your assets. Get used to it."
I will say this. I want to credit this guy because I think I made my argument really clumsily. I didn't do a very good job.
No, people I talked to liked your argument a lot, actually.
Thank you. But what I was just trying to say was I think there's not, if porn is very prevalent, there's not as much incentive to develop actual relationships. I think that's a more sympathetic
but actual
view.
relationships, you can lose all your money.
Unless you marry someone who's good and has values. If you marry someone based on their personality rather than their principles, you might run into some problems.
If they have good principles but are a shitty person, marry that one.
No, if they have good principles, they won't be a shitty person. They might be a little vanilla, but they'll be a good person.
I hope someday you walk in my shoes, and then we'll see how you view money and relationships.
What do you mean walk in your shoes? You know what? I hope that someday you walk in my shoes and you have happiness and joy and meaningful relationships.
I hope so too. I would love, see, look at me. I'd love nothing more. But the reality is, it's a war out there, so...
I just heard like Pat Benatar playing in my head.
Fair in love and war.
We'll leave it at that.
All right, well, it was a good show today.
It was.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Make sure that if you want more of our content to follow our friends at The Daily Caller, and you can find all of our social media in the link in the description. Thank you so much.